Welcome him as you would welcome me. If he has done you any wrong or owes you anything, charge it to me. I, Paul, am writing this with my own hand. I will pay it back. Isn't it amazing? You know what he's talking about? Whatever Onesimus stole. He said, I'm good for it. We're not going to let that come between the restoration of two brothers in Christ. If it's about the money, I'll cover it. I'll take care of it. You know, sometimes our Christian walk requires that, right? That we're willing to give or do something that we're able to do that would make a difference in the reconciliation, maybe with us and someone else, or certainly between two people. And we find that what does Jesus do in terms of... Oh, and the other thing about the slave is, the whole thing about a slave, because in that culture you could buy your freedom, as a matter of money, or someone else could do it. We call it, and the word is redeemed. The word redeem is specifically about buying back a slave. It's from the Old Testament. It's right there in all the Hebrew law is buy back. So redeem, you buy back. So what does Jesus do on the cross? He pays the price to buy us back. But the cost, well, again, wasn't gold and silver. It was his blood. This is where Jesus bought us back. This is where Jesus redeemed us. And in his own way, Paul is saying, I'm going to redeem Onesimus as a slave. I think he probably was even saying, okay, so he's, if it's a matter of paying. What the early Christians did that really was amazing? Besides, they'd go rescue the babies that had been abandoned and raise them, because they valued life and people that were just to die of exposure. All the Christian hospitals started by Christians because they would go and minister to people that were ill, including the risk of their own life. And they actually would buy slaves and then set them free. Now, some of that's going on in our world today. There's some great organizations where we have this current slavery thing going on, where they will, in a sense, buy these people that are in bondage. And all kinds of horrible things going on there. But they will buy them and then give them a different or new life. What's God calling us to do when you think about it? And what is the cost? Is it something we can afford? Just kind of check that out. Okay, so he's saying, I'll buy him back. I'll cover his costs. Because we don't want that to get in the way of it. Because remember what Christ did for us. He bought us back. He paid the price. We were separated from God because of our sin, our fault. We run away. What did Adam and Eve do? They run away in the garden after they sin. We're the problem. And God comes looking. God comes searching. God chose you. God's working in your life. He's a God of action. And then he says, okay, now how are you going to respond to that? How can your life be different? Where can you make these things? So God redeems us, and then he restores us. See, part of what Paul's appeal to Philemon is about Onesimus is, again, that he would be regarded as a brother. He says, he is very dear to me, but even dearer to you, both as a fellow man and as a brother in the Lord. Now, Paul is really bold, right? A lot of moxie here to ask for this in that culture. And Philemon, who was Gentiles, he was brought up in that kind of culture. And Paul has no legal right to ask this, right? Philemon has all his rights and all his privileges, and he's got money if he needs an attorney or whatever, right? Paul's saying, set that aside. It's not about your rights. It's not about your privileges. It's about doing the right thing. And he says, this is a much, much better thing that God would want in terms of the fellowship of being restored. Reminds us a lot of the story of the prodigal son who runs away and he comes back and the father's waiting and restores him. But that's what God does for us. We are restored. And again, notice, not as a slave, but as a full child of God. You are a child of God, fully restored because of what Jesus did. And then we have the adoption papers to remind us of that. Your baptismal certificate, but it's not the certificate. That's the proof. It's what happened here in the waters of baptism. How powerful this is. And lived out in this way. And for us to also be connecting and reaching out to people for this kind of restoration or reconciliation.